variable called world, an integer called I, an integer called J, can't type, integer called J, and an integer called K. And it's also going to take an entity player variable called player. And we've got an error as it's a boolean method and we haven't returned a boolean yet. So we're going to put if world dot is remote, then we're going to return true. So basically, if the client is connected to a server, then the block is going to be activated. However, the next line we can't really do, but we're just going to write it out anyway. So if tal entity test furnace, which this is a class that we'll make in a future tutorial, if tal entity test furnace, TEF we'll call it, equals, then in brackets, tal entity furnace, then tal entity test furnace, then world dot get block tile entity IJK. So basically, when the block is activated, it is going to get the tile entity of the block that we have just placed, basically. And then if TEF isn't equal to null, so if the tile entity passes as being our tile entity, then player dot display GUI. Then we're going to do modloader dot open GUI. Then we're going to pass in the player variable, and we will sort the GUI screen variable in another tutorial. But then below that, we're going to return true. Yeah. So yeah, sorry about going slow, but I want to make sure you guys understand it. So basically, this is the block activated variable is called when you right click on a block, and basically if we are connected to a server, then it's going to return true, and if the block that we are clicking on has a tile entity of our test furnace, then it's going to open our GUI, but we haven't made the GUI class yet, so we can't put that in. So we'll have to come back to this class in a later tutorial. So the next method we want is public static void update furnace block state, which is going to take a boolean variable of B, a world variable, capital W, a world variable of world, an integer of I, an integer of J, and an integer of K, and then int x within the constructor, int x equals equals world dot get block metadata, ijk. So basically this is saying that we're going to define a new variable called variable x, and that is going to be equal to whatever the metadata of the block of this furnace block is. So the next thing we want to do is make a tile entity variable called te, which is equal to world.get block tile entity ijk. So basically whatever the tile entity is of the block that we have placed, that we are right clicking on, then that is going to be equal to this te variable. So the next thing we want to do is call our keep inventory method and make it equal to true. So if we scroll all the way up here, we made a keep inventory variable, a boolean, which is equal to false, and basically when we are updating our furnace block state, we're going to set it to true so that all our items aren't dropped when we are replacing the block. And then we're going to set if the boolean of b is equal to true. So if we, another coding tip, instead of putting true, we could just put b, and it's basically the same thing with a boolean. So if our b variable passes as being true, then we're going to do world.set block with notify ijk. Then this is going to be mod underscore furnace dot whatever we're going to call it. So say furnace test, and this is going to be our active one, and it's also going to be dot block ID. So if we just write ourselves a little to do, can't remember how to write to dos, like that, to do add blocks. So basically we get a little blue note, and basically we need to add the blocks so they come up here, and then we're going to type else, then brackets, then copy this and change this to idle. So basically what this is saying is if our b variable passes as being true, then we are going to set our the block at ijk to our active block, and if it doesn't pass, or if it's false basically, then we're going to set it to idle. But we haven't made these, so we put to dos. Just ignore this, this is just a note to me to make sure I do it. And that is going to finish up this tutorial. So thanks for watching. The next tutorial will carry on with this class. There's a lot to do. I know we haven't got much done, but I want to explain it as thoroughly as possible. So thanks for watching. Sorry for not uploading for a while, and I will see you in the next tutorial.